This is the One Girl Revolution podcast, a podcast that highlights the stories of world-changing women and girls across the country. We hope that these stories inspire you, but even more so, we hope that these stories help you to see your own value, your purpose, and your power to change the world through your life. Every woman and girl is a One Girl Revolution. Welcome back to the One Girl Revolution podcast. It's your girl, Kate, here. Today, we are so honored to share the story of a woman whose heart and hands are reshaping the landscape of wellness, community, and hope in Detroit. Meet Kesha Rand, founder of the Haven Family Center, a place born out of courage, vision, and deep belief that every person deserves a sanctuary of belonging. Kesha didn't wait for permission or perfect conditions. She saw a neglected house in a neighborhood surrounded by liquor stores, payday loans, and unmet needs. And she and her husband invested their own resources, rolled up their sleeves, and transformed that small home into a resilient center of wellness and possibility. Inside this space, you'll find a wellness lounge where someone can step into a sauna or do quiet exercise, a vision room, co-working space for entrepreneurs, a library, and tutoring zones for remote learners. Paint and poetry nights for creative expression, a hidden backyard garden for reflection and community. There is so much you can find at this house, and Kesha talks about all of it and all of the incredible work that they do. Kesha's mission is not just to fix a building, it's to fix the story of a neighborhood. It's to bring people together with family connection. So, through family health and opportunity, Kesha is transforming not only the neighborhood that she lives in, but she is transforming the lives of so many people, all different ages. In this episode, Kesha shares her own life story, her own health journey, and how her health journey really shifted her path, changed her life, and how the simple belief that we deserve more propelled her forward. We'll explore how her programs are changing lives, one person, one family, one block at a time. And we'll hear where she's dreaming of going next, the next chapter for Haven, for Detroit, and for what community wellness can look like when we all show up. If you're ready for inspiration, for real hope, for a blueprint of grassroots impact rooted in love, then lean in, because this conversation with Kesha is exactly that. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Kesha. Kesha, welcome to the One Girl Revolution podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
It is
I appreciate the invitation.
Oh, of course. Well, you are doing such incredible work, and I can't wait to talk about your community and all the great things that you're doing. But on this podcast, we always like to rewind and hear a little bit about the story, your story, and kind of what led you to where you are now and what you're doing now. So I would love for you to share a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about Kesha, like your little Kesha and growing up, and a little bit about your story before Haven Family Center started.
Wow. Okay. Well, my story, I was born and raised in Washington, D.C., to a very loving family who always allowed us to be creative. We were never told, don't worry, don't do that. You'll never succeed. We never heard that. We always heard, if you want to try it, go ahead. So I tried a lot of different things. Whatever seemed interesting to me, that's what I would endeavor to do. So moving fast forward through my life, I ended up into all sorts of different endeavors, clubs, everything except sports. I never cared for contact sports. I like non-contact sports. So I like ping pong. I like pool. I like swimming, but I don't do the basketball, football thing. I don't want anybody to hit me. So from there, I went into Bible college, and I studied the ministry work and became a Bible teacher and an author. And I've authored 10 books and published a few more by other authors. I've traveled several states in the country teaching, just sharing the word of God with people so they can better understand how to apply what's in the Bible to their lives, because sometimes it's a great disconnect because we overthink it, when actually it's everything you need is right there, and the Lord is always there to help you. So while I'm doing this and while I'm living my best life, or so I thought, I became ill. And I came down with an autoimmune disorder that the doctors could not figure out, and they couldn't help. And for 7 years, the first few years, I just suffered with it, and it didn't bother me that much. I just kind of lived with it, and you know how you power through. But at some point, when they discovered what it was, 4 doctors later, 4 different opinions later, I ended up starting a treatment system, and the treatment system took me to death's door several times. So I was managing before I started taking the medicines. So that wasn't helping. I was getting worse. And my last bout in the hospital, it just seemed like nothing was. I mean, I lost so much weight. I was down to 103 pounds when I was normally 150. And because I'm a tall lady, so my bones literally stuck through my skin. You can just. I wore 4 layers of clothes, and you can still tell I was super skinny. And everybody was just at that time, they thought it was AIDS. They didn't know what it was. So people avoided me at work. But for the most part, people still just loved on me. And it wasn't everybody. But I experienced more good than anything else. And after some time and a lot of prayers from a lot of people, I was completely healed. The doctors could not figure it out. They documented it. I had a medical file about 3 inches thick, and the doctors could not figure out what happened. So we know that God heals. But I had to learn later on when other things would come, your normal flu, your normal things, you just don't think that health is a lifestyle. You just think, you get sick, you get a pain, you take a pill, whatever they tell you, you just do it, not realizing that all medicines are toxic, and that if you don't watch what you're eating, no matter what they give you, which should be an emergency treatment, it becomes the rest of your life you're taking medications. So I ended up taking an antibiotic from a dentist. I forgot the name of it, but it starts with a C. I don't remember the name of it, but I had a terrible reaction to it. It damaged my eyesight. It took out my hair. It changed my body tremendously, drastically. And I went back to the doctor because I lost 15 pounds in less than 2 weeks. And the doctor said that that antibiotic is known to cause a third of the people who take it to have a infection in their intestines. So he gave me medicine for that, and that gave me severe headaches. And then he gave me another medication, and it just, oh my goodness, when is it going to end? Every 2 weeks, try this, and come back in 2 weeks and tell me how you feel. And I went, the last prescription he gave me, which was in 2013. Yeah, 2013. I went to the doctor, and the pharmacist I knew, I used to babysit her kid. She saw me coming. She said, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "I'm fine. I got a new prescription from my doctor. Can you fill it in?" She said, "Oh, I need two forms of ID for this." I said, "What are you talking about? You know me." She says, "Nope. For this type of medication, I need more on the record for you." And I said, "Well, I don't want it." And she says, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes, I'm sure. If it's that dangerous, I don't want it." Went home, and I said, "Now what I'm going to do?" And I prayed, and I just knew that the Lord was just moving me to just trust him. And so knowing that, not being drastic or irresponsible, I knew it was time to just stop and let my body just rest from all of that. And I started learning about food and what food can do for you. I didn't know the Hippocratic Oath, and I didn't know about how food should be your medicine and medicine should be your food. So I started studying this, and in the meantime, while I'm doing it, I started being curious. Curiosity is a great tool when it comes to growing, right? So I started just trying new things, how to make them from scratch. Started with butter. How do you make butter from scratch? And I started thinking of all the things that we eat that someone else makes for us. Years ago, decades ago, generations ago, everyone made everything by themselves. Or you knew a neighbor who did, right? I wanted to get back to that. So before I knew it, people started noticing the changes in my skin and my hair and my stamina and how I'm always doing things. And they started asking questions, "How are you doing this?" And I said, "Well, I'm changing what we eat gradually, nothing drastic." And over time, I became a wellness advocate. That's what I called myself, because I'm not a nutritionist or a holistic doctor. I just know what works for us, for my family. And before I knew it, the more questions that came, the more people started referring me to other people and go see this lady, go talk to this, and that's kind of how it started. So my husband and I relocated to Michigan, and we originally came to visit a relative of his. And then when we got here, we saw that it's a historical change going on here. And it's exciting. And we love doing community work. We love helping people. It's our passion. And we want to be a part of this huge, seeing something come to life that had been comatose almost. People were not getting the services that they deserved here. People are people wherever you go. It doesn't matter what zone you live in, what zip code, what city or state. There's still people created in the image of God, and they deserve every type of effort that you can give them. So we decided that I was going to move my ministry work here. So I started looking for properties. Didn't really find anything because I wanted a specific property. It had to be on the corner, and it had to have empty space around it because I didn't want to disturb, the neighbors. And got outbid a few times, just a few times. And then I found this building. And I said, this is great. I can have my office here. I can do my author fireside chats. I can have, because I love having that space, and I don't have to rent out a hotel or a library space or a meeting room. I have my own space. Got the space, and while we're renovating, we kept hearing children outside. And there's no playground out here. There's no, coffee shop. There's no gift shops anywhere. I mean, what would I want in a neighborhood where I lived? And there's no gym. There's nothing that you would want to just walk to. There's no gardens anywhere in this area that I found. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone out there in the whole world, but I didn't find anything that I could walk to from this corner of the world that I would enjoy. But the children would, I kept hearing them outside because kids are kids. They're going to keep bugging to go outside, which is good. And I decided to turn it into a family center. So we turned what was the dining room into a gift shop, and we filled it with books and wellness products that we make by hand. And then we turned the living room or family room into a vision room for co-working. We turned the first bedroom into a library with instruments and everything that you could possibly need to borrow. And then, of course, this bedroom is my office. This is where my actual ministry office is. And then upstairs, the whole up top floor is the wellness lounge. And that's where we have our exercise one-on-one sessions. We have a sauna room, vaginal steamer for women, smoothie station. I mean, everything that I could think of from my years of being a creative person and my years of doing things that I just thought were beautiful. We were meant to be creative. And so I wanted to just explore. I'm still exploring. I'm still curious. I'm still trying new things. You should see the library right now. I have a whole table of flower petals that I saved from the flowers that I dried this summer, trying to create a project with it. It's not working so well so far, but I'm going to keep trying. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's me. And I'm hoping that in this space, we teach wellness classes. We have wellness brunches, wellness dinners. We're trying to do different things. So every day we have something different happening here. Adult game night. I mean, we have over 300 games, and it's just an opportunity for people to get out of their spaces where and this is something that I know you found me through the article about me, but what they didn't say was the real reason why I wanted to do this is that when we first moved here, I found out that a lot of the children who grow up here, as soon as they graduate from high school, they leave. They go to college and they never come back. And I kind of wanted to give them a bit of a lighthouse experience. If there's no other house, I'm going to be bold enough to go ahead and I'm going to make this the prettiest house in the whole neighborhood. So when you walk to school or play outside, you're going to see flowers. So yes, we have a rose garden in the front. We have a friendship garden on the right, which we're hoping to keep more flowers, but perennials can be a little pricey, so we're doing a little at a time. We have the peace garden in the back where we do our events and classes, and then we have the learning garden on the side where we teach people how to garden. And then at the very back of the learning garden, we have a mini vineyard. So yeah, and we grow riverbank grapes. Well, we don't grow them, we take care of them. They grow on their own. And then we harvest them and we make a fantastic, what I call sweet tart jelly, but we keep selling out of it. So I make other jellies from the Rose of Sharon, roses. We make jelly from lilacs and whatever we can. That all of the edible flowers that we grow. Almost everything here that we grow is edible. So we have cherry trees, peach trees, apple trees, elderberries, blueberries, strawberries, three types of mulberries, asparagus. We're trying to just get more and more perennials going so that when our neighbors come through, they already know whatever's growing on the edge of the fence, just take it. Just enjoy tomatoes, whatever, peppers. And then that way they don't have to wait for me to be here. So my time is divided here. I'm not here all the time 24/7. So the neighbors all know who we are and what we're doing. They all are a huge support and a big help. I'm not as outgoing to go right up to a stranger unless I see them outside already working in their gardens. Because people, I mean, some of the most beautiful gardens are right here. You just wouldn't know it. And I hear these things when I got here about how there's the west side of Detroit and the east side of Detroit and all the divisions. And I'm thinking, wow, it's one city though. We're one family, right? We even and it's kind of systemic. It's the whole country right now. We're too divided in how we see ourselves when we're all really just family, honestly. So that's why I call it a family center, because community kind of speaks to, or it seems to address only the people who live right there in that vicinity. And I didn't want anyone who was not in this area to think, oh, I can't go there because I'm not a part of that community. I live over here. So we were very careful not to call it a community center, but it's community work, so to speak. We're open by appointment only. That gives me a chance to go home and take care of my garden there and all of this. So it's different and I've been busy with this. I opened this, well, I bought this place right after I lost my mom, and that kept the grieving process from me moving forward. Because when you're grieving, you have to keep moving until you're able to move the grief away from you. And at some point, you do have to move the grief. You have to literally place it. I mean, put it to rest, bury the grief itself. And so, and in my father, 2 years later, so it's just been kind of a season of loss. And some of the properties that we purchased, either lost or vandalized to people who are just hurting. That's the best way I can describe it. So I really can't be mad, right? And
Yeah.
I know the popular saying is hurt people, but that's not necessarily true because it's always a choice. I've been deeply hurt by the things that people have done, but I'm not going to go out there and start looking to hurt somebody because of, right? Because we've all been hurt. And
Right.
if you haven't, that means you're in a coma in a facility and no one's touched you, right? You just been protected.
Yeah.
But we all have a story. We all have experience. Right? There's no reason for us to think that because something bad has happened, we have to stop. When your best days are the days when you are creative, when you are making something. It doesn't have to be food. It doesn't have to be a garden. It doesn't have to be an art piece or something you sewed. It could be a song that you're writing or a poem. I have a whole line of poetry in the gift shop that I've written over the years, right? It just wherever you are on that day. And if you've never written something before, try to journal, right? I have learned that the best part of our lives comes when we are creating. And especially if you can create something that blesses someone else, because it really is better to give than it is to receive. So,
You are such a beacon of light, and the Haven
oh,
Family
thank you.
Center is such a beacon to the city of Detroit, but also to everyone, like everyone that's stumbling upon your story. And that's why I wanted to have you on this podcast. And I love so
Thank you.
many things about your story, Kesha, but
Oh,
I can relate to I have autoimmune issues as well. And it's like I've been able to heal my body and heal my life through food and have shared that experience with so many other people. And I know that that now is becoming a bigger conversation
yeah.
in our
People,
world, which is great. And people knowing that there are alternatives to, like, okay, you don't always just have to like take the pill to put the band-aid on your issues. It's like, no, I want to know what's going on, or what are the things that I can take out of my diet. And I was reading, just as I was reading about the work that you're doing, you're opening other people's eyes to the possibilities, right? When it comes to food, when it comes to healing, then you have this family element, building community, building a family for people. What a lot of people don't realize is how expansive Detroit is. We're so spread out. There are all these pockets of neighborhoods, and you'll drive through different neighborhoods where it's just empty, almost looks like farmland in some places because there are no longer houses there. And we're all like, all the houses are so spread out and people don't know their neighbors. And I love that you are just creating this space for a family and that everybody anywhere is welcome to come. And I hope that as you continue to get these stories and people find out about the work that you're doing, that they come by and visit when they're in Detroit.
I want this to be a destination. I want it to be one more reason to come to Detroit. Detroit is full of beautiful people. Despite whatever has happened, that all happened before I got here. And I've heard different stories about what happened and how and why and who did this and who didn't do that. I get that. That's the history. But we live in the now. I can't do anything to undo what was done, but I can plant a tree today. I can, grow some flowers. I can create some more art pieces to hang up. And you know what I mean? It's choices. We're only on this planet for so long. You got about 120 years promised to you. How you take care of yourself will have a lot to do with how long you're here. I mean, why would you die before your time because you're being foolish or because you're out there messing your life up, making bad decisions? And eating incorrectly is not a good decision, right? So I honestly am still battling with my sugar. Everything else I've adjusted, but that one thing, because I love my pastry. I am a foodie. I love food. So I had to limit. And I learned, it took me years to learn how to watch those numbers. It's not the calories, it's not the fat, it is the sugar.
And that's
And
my weakness too. I was
yeah,
laughing, Kesha, because
yeah.
I was like, that is my weakness.
Mhm.
But no, with like natural sugars and like I love to
Natural.
bake, so it's like learning how you just have to know what's possible. And so I
Yeah.
love in all the different elements of the work that you're doing, you're not just with food, but you're showing people what's possible. In Detroit, a lot of people also don't know like what a food desert it is here. And so much you go to even the grocery stores and everything is processed and there aren't a lot of options for people like they have in the suburbs, and so it's creating the space, like teaching people how to grow gardens or knowing that you have these gardens and people can come and pick things and come to your space for a dinner or a brunch and teaching people what's possible because we do what we know, right? It's like, well, I've always eaten Chef Boyardee, so I don't know that I could actually make it with more like wholesome ingredients. But even like art, the creative element, right, that you're talking about, like everybody has that within them, this creativity, this creative force. You just have to find what that is. Maybe it's sports for some people. I'm the same as you, that it's like sports was never my thing, but maybe it's like drawing or painting or dancing or music. Like we all have that in us. And so finding that, and I love about the center that you're doing, so you're offering so many different things for so many people, and I know that you're going to continue to grow and evolve, and even as people come through your space, they're going to give you ideas, they're going to bring new ideas and opportunities for people too, and say, hey, like you don't have this but I know how to do that, can I teach people, or can I help with the community here? The world tells women and girls that they don't matter, that one woman, one girl can't be a revolution. But that's not true. Every woman and every girl is a one girl revolution. Join the Every Woman, Every Girl campaign today by posting a video or graphic on social media telling us why you are a one girl revolution. Tag us, collab with us on Instagram, and shout out a woman or girl who inspires you. Tell us who is a one girl revolution in your life. Together, we are lifting voices, telling stories, and reminding every woman and girl who she really is. Follow along, share your story, and be a part of the movement. Because when every woman and every girl rises, the whole world changes. Join us today at onegirlrevolution.com. That's the number onegirlrevolution.com. It's incredible to me what you and the family of the Haven Family Center has created, and I can't wait to see where you go from here. How do you get connected, Kesha, with the individuals? I know some of it is probably like neighbors or people that are stumbling upon the work that you're doing, but how do you get connected to people all over who are coming to be a part of what you're doing?
For the most part, social media, our website. and we're on Instagram, Facebook, Nextdoor. I do put some things in LinkedIn every now and then, but for the most part, it's just word of mouth. And I don't do a whole lot of marketing. Everything has been word of mouth. Sometimes I'll go out and I'll take some of my wellness products with me or my books if I'm on a book tour, and then I'll tell them about the Haven. And then when I do speaking engagements, I, tell them about the Haven at that point. And I usually have people come to visit because we're a membership based business, but we're volunteer supported. So we don't have the staff at this point to support salaries and all of that because we're not trying to, how can I put this? We're not a nonprofit, but we're also not trying to be high end. I think you can have quality and excellence and beauty and not have to be in a certain bracket of income, or you know what I mean. You should
Yeah.
be able to go to a private facility to have a workout and sit in a sauna or a red light therapy, and you don't have to make $1 million a year.
Hmm.
This is something that's necessary.
Yeah.
People don't realize, for example, a sauna can help to prevent and even heal patients who have dementia and Alzheimer's. It's fascinating the simple things that we don't know are available that people do in other countries every day, right? The
Yep.
blue zones throughout the world where people live past 100 on a regular basis. What are they doing differently than we are? So we teach about those processes and those practices. And just so you know, I haven't. That was the last prescription that I ever had that I told you about.
Wow.
2013. I have not had a prescription since, and I haven't had an over-the-counter anything since 2016.
Wow.
So, and that was an Advil that I took because I suffered from that antibiotic for years. It made me have inflammation of my irises. So I couldn't see anything, any light. I couldn't even hold a spoon to my mouth because the reflection on the metal, any light in my eyes would feel like a knife sticking in my eyes. So, but that's gone now. I've learned all about taking care. So I've learned how to listen to my body's signals before things get bad. And I have not had a bout with anything longer than maybe 3 days. If something
Yeah.
does come my way, my body is at a point now because I'm not compromising my health with all these fake foods. I don't do, I mean, there these snacks, that's not food. And we have better choices now. And I'm hoping that the prices for these better choices continually become more on the level of what people can manage. Because if the best foods are only for people who are rich, then we're just only the people who are poor are going to be sick, right? And they don't have the money to get better. So why are you making the food that they need so expensive? So when I teach gardening, I make sure I teach them how to create better soil, living soil. I teach them how to create ecosystems. And there's a farmer 4 blocks away, and she works with me and she helps me. Deeply rooted produce. She is fantastic with all that she does. She's a real farmer. Me, I'm just I'm not all of that, but she helps me farm her car, and I have other people who have contributed to giving me information and ideas. I have one of our volunteers. She helps with our seniors learning about caregiving, learning about taking care of their finances. She's going to be doing classes here soon. We have another young man. He has his. He's one of our members also. He has his oil. He has a natural oil that fights pain naturally, and he sells it in our gift shop. We have a neighbor who she creates hand sewn natural fiber hats, and they're beautiful, and she sells those in our gift shop, and we don't take a consignment fee at all. We just want them to be a member of the Haven and just do your business. So our co-working space, we have copy machines, we have everything you need to run a business right there in that room. You don't have to buy anything. You don't even have to buy stamps if you need to mail something within reason. But
Yeah.
so the whole point is when you're trying to start a business, the hardest part is getting all the little things that you need. That's, I've seen people start a business and they spend so much money on the startup part, on the location, the brick and mortar, on the marketing piece, and they don't know how to get a free website. They don't know how to nuance all the social media outlets. They don't know how to do that. So they end up spending so much money. If they did get a grant or a loan, it is gone before they even open their doors. And they're hoping that the customers will put that money back in their pockets, and they end up closing down within months, even a couple of years, because it's so much to start up. So we want to that to not be a problem anymore. If you want to start a business, you can start it right here. You have your brick and mortar space, you have the printer, you have the whatever you need. Everything is out there. We have all kinds of tools for business owners, but we also have a selection in the library just for homeschoolers. So if you want to homeschool your child, and your child doesn't want to be at home all the time, you want to meet with other kids, we can do that here. I worked in a homeschool program for 3 years, several years ago, because I have a background in education. I've worked with kids since I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
And so I've always had an opportunity to collect books and collect materials if I ever come across more kids. So the kids already know, and they all call me Miss Butterfly, by the way. That's my nickname. And they come to get the books. They want to play with the keyboards or mess around with the xylophone or whatever other instruments we have in there at the time. And they like to hang out here. As long as their parents know where they are, I'm fine with it. But the goal is to get these children engaged in being creative. We're going to start back up our Kids in Business program in a few weeks. And what that is we teach children, we have 10 classes, and we teach the children marketing. We teach them customer service. We teach them quality control, partnership. We teach them how to use their own ideas and monetize them. And then we teach them how to handle that money so that they're not just earning money to just spend it. We're teaching them to be investors, not just consumers. So we done that program a few times pretty successfully, and the children keep their money. That's the difference between what we do and what some other programs do. They make the parents pay for the startup costs, and then when they make the product and they sell it, the company keeps the money. And I think that's terrible, right? The children are doing the work. Yes, you're teaching them about business, but the whole point of business is to earn money, right? To make
Yeah.
your own money. So why are you taking the children's money that they worked for? So I didn't like that. So I'm going to do that program again. I would love to do it during the school breaks. So doing Christmas break, winter break, and spring break, and then maybe something on the weekends just to kind of keep the momentum going. And then once it warms up again, then we're going to start teaching, gardening on the kids level. And hopefully, I would love to have school buses come in every week. I'm having a different bunch of kids come to learn how to plant the food, preserve the food, eat the food, and how it all works together, how to use these herbs to make different teas, how to use the flowers. They don't even know a lot of the flowers that you see are edible or what to do with them. I wanted to try all the different jellies that we have made from the herbs and the flowers right here. They don't know what they have right in their backyards. Just don't spray it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's teaching people what's possible, right? Like to know, and teaching kids, it's transforming not only because you know that those kids are going home and telling their parents like whatever things you're telling them too. It's like really building, empowering these families, I would say, empowering these kids, empowering these families, empowering business owners, right? Because everything you said, it's when people start businesses, they don't know how to do it. And there aren't a lot of there are a lot of resources, I would say, in Detroit, but people don't know how to find them. And like they don't, it's complicated because it's like, well, if you don't live in this zip code, that's something that I've experienced. It's like, okay, if you don't live in this zip code, you're not applicable for this. So you really are taking the barriers away for so many things, right? Of course, like creativity, support for these kids, like what are these kids doing when they go home from school? Like you're creating opportunities for them to do that and just opening their eyes to a whole new world, Kesha. And it's incredible. I want to know when you had this idea, when you had this vision for the Haven Family Center, when you bought the building, was your vision all of these things, or has it kind of grown and evolved and taken on a life of its own?
Not at all. This was supposed to be the Office for Sincere Ministries Incorporated. I started that in 1989. This is our 36th year doing Sincere. That is a biblical teaching and volunteer organization. That's all we do is volunteer in the community, and we teach the Bible. That was it. I just needed a place to sit down and do that. But it was the kids. It was the children. As soon as we got here, and every time I did an event, like if I did, we do the summer holidays. So we do Juneteenth, July 4th, Grandparents' Day, and what did I miss? Juneteenth, July 4th. Oh, Labor Day and Grandparents' Day. We do all the summer holidays here. We invite the whole wide world to come, and we just cook whatever we can, and we bring out games, and we set up volleyball and spike ball and golf, and we put out the footballs and whatever you can think of that encompasses 300 games. We have all that, and we put it all out, put up a couple of tents, and the community police here, the neighborhood police officers here, that team of individuals are phenomenal. I don't know about the other areas, but in this area, they will blow you away with how supportive. And they come out, they line up the streets with their cars, and they help and they engage. They're not just sitting in their cars with their arms folded, staring at everybody. They're literally helping with chairs and putting up tables and dancing with the kids and doing karaoke with us. And it is amazing how much fun we all have. And it just takes me back to how in DC we were just family with each other. We literally just were with each other all the time. We just enjoyed ourselves. It wasn't a hard thing. There was never, oh, I'm from the other side, I don't go to that side. Okay, I hear that. But can we just breathe for right now? That's what I'm addicted to. I'm addicted to just breathing and just
Yeah.
air. I'm
Yeah.
addicted to being alive. I want to just enjoy every part of while I'm here, because everyone that I have lost has gone too soon.
Mhm.
I love that I am almost 60 years old and I don't have any pains in my body. I don't have any ailments. I don't have anything that a doctor can detect that's wrong with this body of mine. I don't have, and not even aspirin, nothing. I have need for nothing. And this is not because I'm this strange person and I'm always healthy. No, historically, I still have those medical records. I still have all the x-rays, everything of when I had been sick before. And I still have to watch the results of what happened because of the medications. When damage is damage, when you've been burned, there's chemical burn inside of my body from those medications. So yeah, I have to watch what I'm doing and what I'm eating. And I can tell when I've had too much of something or not enough water or not enough, and because of that, I stay ahead of it. And so I pass that information on to people, because you really can't enjoy yourself if you're in pain. You
Right.
really can. All the wonderful things you might do, and and people, I've had one person, just one, he said to me, well, I can do all that at home. I'm thinking, yes, of course you can. But the beauty of doing this together is when we come together in a space, even like you and I, we're in the same room, but we're in two different locations. How enjoyable is this right now? Just you and I,
Yeah, girl.
right?
I
Just
I can't wait to
seeing
come
the
to the
small
Haven Family
things.
Center and like sit with you in person. But it's exactly right. Is
We
encountering people, you know?
Just sometimes just sitting down. Why do you think when we do paint and poetry night, we did it on Thursday nights, and when people just kind of sit around and they share their favorite poem while we're painting, right? Some people are painting mugs, some are painting glasses, some are painting shirts. Everybody paints whatever they want, but we're listening to really wonderful poetry. And one time when we did it, one person didn't have a poem, but she was an actual Broadway actress, and so
Oh,
she did a monologue that just completely left us silent. It was so beautiful because we weren't expecting that. We're expecting from someone to read a poem or recite something that they, oh, it was amazing. So being able to share your talent and your passion in such a small little space, this is a small little space. So we call this our little house of hope. It's not a tiny house, but it's still a little house. And it's
yeah.
okay. We do want to scale. We do want to have havens in other places, because this is not the only place that we found like this. But I found so many beautiful people here who are I mean, their flowers are just growing everywhere. I love to just, when I see them out there, I would introduce myself and say, hey, I live two doors down or over there or around the corner. I love what you're doing. Come and visit. And people are still a little shy. And some people are still a little slow. And I was told that in Detroit, they like to date you first and see if you're genuine, see if you're real. So we don't know. And I've had people who have signed up for a class or an event and didn't show up, even to sign up for tickets on Eventbrite, the whole nine, and just not come. And I mean, we're engaging, we're texting, the whole communicative thing is happening, and they still don't come. And then you have these other situations where we did one, it was July 4th, I think it was, one of our summer events, and the MPO, he got on his phone and he literally called everybody, and everybody came.
Yeah.
Everybody came. Everybody, the people just kept coming. And we were just I'm just amazed at the
Yeah.
possibility. So I never worry about whether it's just one person, because sometimes, I'll make all the food and everything, but my husband and we're meal preppers. So if you don't come, I will get my vacuum sealer out.
The
Thank
same.
you for helping me meal prep. At the same time, I try to have a good time with you.
Yep.
But if you can't come, if you're nervous about coming, it's okay.
Mhm.
This is something I've been blessed with.
Mhm.
I don't have to worry about high cost or high rents, anything like that. We bought this place because it was unloved, and it was kind of at the bottom of the barrel. Nobody was loving this place. So we put a lot of love into it, a lot of work, our own money, our own work. So that's why it's taken so long to get everything finished. And we're about 90% finished.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. Well, it's so
So,
beautiful what you've accomplished and you're doing so much in the space and I can't wait to see where you grow and evolve to and like you said, I think it'd be amazing to have havens all over the place and I hope that that's how it grows and evolves. How can people get involved in your work? How can obviously they can become members, they can volunteer, but tell me all the different ways that people can get involved.
well, other than membership and being a volunteer, you can also be involved by, if you want to have a business here, if you want to just teach a class here, you want to do a networking event here. Maybe you want to participate with our adult game nights. Invite your team and all your coworkers and do a paint and poetry night with us, or invite go on a date here for one of our wellness dinner clubs. You
Yeah,
know,
love
it's
that.
very elegant. It's now that is our one fine dining experience. I mean, it's cloth napkins, it's crystal glasses, it's everything is fine and made from scratch. We don't even use aluminum, Teflon, microwaves. We don't use anything like that here. Everything is natural. And so we want people to participate with these events. So to come here and get involved, you can come every month to a wellness supper club and have a full 5 or 6 course dinner laid out for you with everything is made. Even the pasta is made from scratch. The pasta sauce does not come out of a jar. We make that from scratch. We even make cheese. I mean, we make everything. Everything. We make the butter. So the goal is to let people try, what is food supposed to taste like? What did it taste like? I mean, sometimes people just come and try things from the garden. You didn't know celery could taste like that, did you? You didn't know tomato could smell like that. You didn't know that you can get a purple string bean off the vine and it tastes amazing. Or to pluck a berry, like the strawberries, just pluck it right out the ground and it's red inside, not white, not pink. It is red and juicy and it's real, no chemicals. I don't use chemicals. I don't even use chemical fertilizers, right? So, but I'll teach you how to make it
Mhm.
using what you think are weeds, right? It's the information is out there, but some people, like myself, are hands-on learners. We enjoy learning as we go. So I say, come here and let's learn together, right? Teach
Yeah.
me, and I'll share with you what I've learned. Let's see what we can cook up in the kitchen. Let's see what we can dig around in the library. Let's just see, right? And if you're sick, sit down with me and let me just pray for you and then pray for wisdom about your situation, about your challenge, and see what happens, see what we learn. And let God, the one who made you, the only one who knows what's going on inside your body, let him guide us into what things you should be doing differently. To heal my eyes after that antibiotic destroyed. I mean, I never needed glasses before that,
Yeah.
but I didn't know that beets had nutrients in them that that not only help prevent glaucoma and cataracts, but it helps to heal your eyes. So, and then I learned about the doctrine of signatures, where what the food resembles in your body is most likely God's signature, that's what it's for. So the kidney bean is for your kidneys. The tomato, which is about the size of your heart, has 4 chambers and is red, is actually great for your heart. The let's see, figs, which 2 sacks loaded with seeds, are good for the scrotum, right? And walnut, when you crack it up without breaking the nut inside, looks exactly like your brain. So that's the doctrine of signatures. I didn't make that up. I just learned about it. It is fascinating. So when you start eating those things, like anything that looks like an iris, when you slice it, a carrot, an orange, a grapefruit, a beet, they all look like an iris, and all of them are excellent for your eyes.
Yeah.
But if you don't know this, you're just gonna just keep eating Cheetos or whatever it is that
Right.
you think are food-like substances that are not really food anymore. Maybe they started off that way. And because they don't have to tell you everything that's in their product anymore, you really don't know what you're eating anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even want to mention some of the things that they say are in our food now.
No. You start to deep dive and you're like, no, thank you. I will never eat again.
You don't want to eat ever again. Like it's what?
No, but now we can all come to Haven. We'll all come to Haven and learn and eat your amazing food. Every woman, every girl. The world tells them they don't matter, but we know the truth. Every woman and every girl is a one girl revolution. Through the Every Woman, Every Girl campaign, we're telling powerful stories, lifting voices, and reminding women and girls everywhere of their worth, their purpose, and the power that they hold to change the world. But we can't do it without you. Your donation helps us share more stories, reach more women and girls, and change more lives. Join the movement today. Support the campaign. Donate at onegirlrevolution.com/donate. That's the number onegirlrevolution.com/donate. Because when every woman and every girl rises, the whole world changes. Kesha, I wanted to ask you about, I know that there are so many people who have been impacted through your work, and I can't wait to see like how this story continues to be written. But is there a story that you could share of somebody who's been positively impacted by the work that you do through Haven, whether it's a kid who started coming, and they started their own business, or somebody whose health journey was impacted positively? I'm sure there are so many, but is there maybe one or two that you could share?
Well, one young lady, she started coming here because I noticed her in church and her ankles were swollen so bad. They resemble cantaloupes. And I didn't know her. And I just walked over to her and I asked her, I said, would you mind if I sat down and talked to you about possibly helping you with your ankles? And she said, oh, I don't mind. Because the doctors had worked with her for years and weren't able to help her. So I said, you just come once a week and just let's go and do a wellness session and let's do all the things that we can do using your own body weight, moving your lymphatic fluid, getting your body to change from being so sedentary, and let's see what happens. So I created a wellness protocol for her and she took it home and she came back every week. We sat down, we went through things, we did updates, and we would do an actual fitness session together. And within a month, she came one day and says, I ran up the steps the other day. Now, when I met her, she could barely walk.
Wow.
She says, I'm riding my bike with my husband. So that was just her coming once a week. And this is just, we taking a pause from what you normally do and trying things that you may not like. Like I've always hated beets, hated beets till I tried them differently. I've only had them cold in a salad, pickled. I didn't know that you can roast a beet and season it with a little pepper, and it's a whole different experience. So that's what I love about food. Food does not have to be the same way all the time.
Mhm.
If a chef can make an egg 100 different ways, a real chef right here,
Yeah.
the more ways he can make an egg, that's how many pleats he has in his hat or something like that. Somebody told me. But the whole point is sometimes those foods that you don't like are the foods you probably need.
Mm.
And sometimes the foods that you really love, they don't love you back. So that's what I was teaching her. And another young lady, she had a lot of severe female reproductive issues. And it was to the point where she was losing weight, couldn't put weight on, and she was just miserable. And I created a wellness protocol for her. And her protocol, I always ask you to do it for 3 weeks. Just give me 3 weeks. Get that 21-day cycle and just try these things from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed. These are the things you should be eating. These are the exercises you should be doing. These are the supplements you might want to try taking. These are the things you should be avoiding. etc., etc. She did that, and she says, "Oh my goodness, my appetite has returned after all this time." And it's not medicine. This is not an alternative to medicine. This is life. Medicine should be the alternative.
Hmm.
Medicine should be the emergency. I mean, if I break my arm, I'm going to the doctor. Fix me. But I'm not going to go to the doctor every single week. I'm going to learn what to eat to strengthen my bones. I'm going to learn what I need to do to get my joints back in place. I'm going to learn what I need to do to get the functionality back. I'm not just going to depend on someone else. When I live in this body all day, it's my responsibility.
Hmm.
And I guess the greatest story is my father-in-law last year was sent home and told to call hospice. And they told him that he had until probably the end of October before he'd be out of here. He'd be gone. And so my husband and I, of course, we went down there out of state to see him, and he was saying his goodbyes to everyone. And I told him, I don't want to say goodbye. I don't want to say goodbye. I want to see you. And if you're willing, I'll pray for wisdom, and I'll share whatever I've learned with you. And whatever, however the Lord guides me, I'll share that with you if you want. And he said, I'll do whatever you say. Now, this is an alpha male. So for him to say that was a really beautiful thing to hear. So I knew he was hurting, and I knew he was in trouble, but he didn't want chemo. He didn't want radiation. He didn't want surgery. So it had gone to the point where it was just destroying his body. But we worked with him. The whole family, pulled together. We created a protocol plan for him with supplementation and minimal exercise, but definite movement. Um, just gentle therapies. Gentle. He was already at death's door. So we couldn't do anything extreme at that point, right? We just had to make everything gradual. And within a few weeks, he was up and out of the bed. He was out of diapers. He was walking with a walker, and then later with the cane. And then next thing you know, he's driving, and then he's mowing the grass again, and all the things. And he was doing so great. That was October. This is November the following year. He's still here.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
mind you, I don't know if he's still doing everything anymore.
It's
I
funny
have been
how you
hearing
become
some
the
things.
parent to your parents, you know?
But again, it's all about choices,
Yes, it's all about
right?
choices, right?
And we choose to listen. We choose what's easy or what's hard. And for me, the way I see it is laying in bed sick and in pain is hard. Eating better and pushing aside that second piece of pie, that's hard. But being sick is harder. So you got to choose your hard. Isn't that the saying?
Yeah,
Choose your
it's
hard.
so true.
I
It's
would
so
rather
true.
not have them cut my organs out. That's hard.
Yep.
I'd rather just not eat any more crab or shellfish and all the other animals that are really just garbage cans for nature. They're nature's natural garbage cans. I don't need to be eating those foods. I don't care how good that lobster is. It's not something I should be eating. It doesn't help your organs at all. If anything, it makes your organs work too hard. And that's hard for me. I'm from Washington, D.C. We live right off Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
Seafood is always everywhere available, right? It's nothing to see crab trucks all over the place and fine dining everywhere. But I had to change from eating just all types of seafood to only eating those seafoods that had a particular type of biology.
Hmm.
It had to have fins and scales, or I wasn't going to eat it. It was that simple. If it was a garbage collector, I didn't want to eat. That's like if I can choose what car to drive in on my everyday basis, I'm not going to choose a garbage truck.
Hmm.
That's not going to be my sweet ride.
Yep.
I'm going to choose the high end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, that I'm carrying garbage around in my vehicle.
Yep.
There's nothing
It's
wrong with a garbage truck for the garbage man, but he doesn't want to drive in that all the time either. That's just his job.
yeah.
That's kind of how we've helped some people. And then the kids who've come over, they still ask, when are we going to do another event? And they come over regularly for popsicles. I have to keep popsicles stocked in the freezer, just and bubble gum. I have to.
The little things in life. It's the
The
little
little
thing. And
things,
sometimes we
I
all
have
deserve
to.
a little treat
Yeah, I
sometimes.
have to
So,
have to keep the basketball pump. When they want to play soccer or whatever they want to do, they need their balls pumped up. I have to keep that close to the door. Does your mom know you're here? Okay, here's the pump. You're not coming in. Just take the pump and go. Bring it back. Just the relationship. Seeing seeing the kids grow, hearing them laugh, all of that. It's such a song when we're here and we're sitting back in the peace garden and we're listening to the stream, the pond, and you hear the sound of the water, and then every year the hummingbirds start coming and we just watch all the birds. I have never seen this many different types of birds inside of a city,
Mm.
like a city setting. So I don't know where they're coming from, maybe Canada, but they love the Haven Family Center. And as a result of the birds, we also have cats. And
Yeah.
I don't like the cats coming into the peace garden because they're coming to kill something.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the peace garden. Come on, cats.
They are hunters. So I have to be careful when I see the cats. I have to shoo them away. Um, but just the wildlife and finding the herbs. Oh, I found last year mullein growing
Oh,
behind the peace
wow. Yeah,
garden.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd never seen it before. I didn't know it would get that tall. So I had
Yeah.
to look that up and learn how do you harvest it? What do you do with it? So I harvested it, I dried it, and now I don't know what to do with it. So I have to learn. But I
Well,
have yarrow growing here. I have mint growing here naturally. I have about 15 different herbs growing naturally here. And I took the pains of knowing how to identify them. I made sure that I wasn't getting, I got yarrow and not something else like hemlock or wild carrots. I want to make sure I'm getting the right thing. But it's so exciting to go, what is this plant?
mm-hmm.
And looking it up and then doing the research and then getting all the books out and comparing pictures and looking up all the details. You've heard of the story of Into the Wild, of the young man who,
Yeah.
okay, and they said that they believe he died from misidentifying a wild potato
Mm-hmm.
plant and poisoning himself because it caused him to have diarrhea.
Yeah.
That's what the movie said, but I have the book in the library, and there it's kind of inconclusive if
Okay.
that's what happened. But based on his notes, they believe that's what happened. He identified something wrong, but so I've always been conscious of that from his story. His story helps me to
Yep.
be careful that I don't just grab something and dry it and call it tea.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, and I have someone coming here today in a couple of hours. She and her husband both have challenges, and they want to know what type of, because I have infused honeys, and each of the honeys infuses for several weeks with different flowers that are have medicinal properties, and
Mm.
I list for them what those properties are. Um,
Wow.
we blend the teas for you based on what your challenge is. We blend the different herbs. So we have all that available right there. The wellness for your skin, your hair. We want every part of you to be well and strong. We don't want your hair to fall out. We don't want your skin to break out. We don't want you to have eczema. We don't want you to have asthma. Whatever your challenge is, we believe strongly that it can be addressed and it can be reversed.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to identify what it is that your body is missing, not what you have. We know you have diabetes.
Yeah.
But what you don't have is the ability to process insulin correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're not processing or you're not producing. Some kind of way, there's a flow that's been interrupted. We just have to figure out what foods you're missing, what vitamins. Do you need moringa? We grow moringa trees every
Yeah.
year. What do you need? You're missing something. And then we show you how to make your own vitamins. Right here. We do all sorts of things here, but it's all the way I pattern it just to make sure I'm not trying to say that I do everything. I'm trying to do everything that people always used to do years ago.
Mm.
They all did this. They made their own teas, they made their own medicines, they made their own, facial creams, and they made their own hair lotion. You see what I'm saying? Nowadays, we are so dependent on other people, we are almost lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not enough money in the world to buy your health back,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's not enough drugs in the world to take that pain away when it's bad enough. And I know what it's like to have pain that medicine cannot touch.
Mm-hmm.
So let's learn, right? And while we do it, let's have a little fun while we're here.
Yeah.
Serious. Let's laugh. Let's talk. Let's sit down and just enjoy a quiet cup of tea together or cocoa.
Yeah. Kesha, I am just so blown away by you, by everything that you're doing. I cannot wait to stay in touch with you, continue to follow everything that you're doing. I can't wait to come to the Haven. I want to come and check
Are
out
you,
everything, and I can't wait to share
are
that with
you
our
in?
audience. I'm in Detroit, girl. I've just never been to the Haven. So
How about that? Well, what are you waiting for? My door is open. By
hop in my car and no, I cannot wait to come and anything that I can do to support your work. I was so excited to share, a
Oh,
little bit about your story and a little bit about the work that you're doing through this podcast. And as you know, the podcast is called One Girl Revolution. So I'd love to ask you, you are a one girl revolution. So that's why I wanted to have you on this podcast. I know you're surrounded by so many one girl revolutions, but I
yeah.
want to know from you, who is a one girl revolution in your life? Who is a woman or girl that inspires you?
I would say, here in Detroit or just in
Anywhere.
general. I have a young lady who, oh wow, there's so many. All of my friends are there's such a quality type of person. Their characters are so immense. We've been all friends for, oh my goodness, 20, 30, 40 years. Not that I'm selective, but they just fit every space. I don't really need to find any new friends. So, wow, I don't have just one. I don't have just one.
That's okay. That's okay. There's so many women in our lives that are just inspiring. And so I'm always curious though, what people spotlight. But like I said, Kesha, I cannot wait to follow everything that you're doing. I will put all of the links to the Haven so people can find out more about what you're doing. I'll put your social media links. We'll tag you and everything so people can continue to follow. They can get in touch with you. They can become a member. They can come and check out the great work that you're doing, and we'll continue to follow in any way that we can. I'll
Thank
also
you.
figure out a link for your books. So if people want to like learn more and read your books, I'll
Okay.
make sure that we have links to that.
Well,
But
thank you.
before I let you go, Kesha, I always end this podcast on one question. So I'd like to ask you, if you could leave women and girls around the world with one message, what would it be?
For women around the world, I guess my message honestly would be, if what you're doing is something that will inspire the children of the next generation, keep doing it. That's it. I had to look at what the children, because I was inspired as a child. My mother, my grandparents, my father spoke so much into my life when I was little. He said so much about who I would be, and I believed him. And I heard his voice follow me the rest of all through my days of what he said I would be. I would be in great rooms and speak to great people and philosophize. I said that wrong, but be a philosopher. He was the first one to say these things to me, and he bought me encyclopedia sets and all types of art supplies, and he bought me instruments, adult instruments, by the way, and I was what, 2? So my father, my mother, she was a great creative, an author, a teacher. She traveled teaching people, helping people, and so generous. And I've just been surrounded. My grandfather, oh my goodness, he was the greatest person I've ever met. But I really want people to just consider that the children are always watching you. Respect them. Respect those children. They are people, and they are the next adults in the next 5 seconds. So childhood doesn't last very long. So give them everything you've got. Protect them with everything you've got, and you're going to find that your work is fulfilled.
Kesha, you are such a beautiful example of that, and the work that you're doing is such a beautiful example. Thank you for
Thank you.
everything that you do. Thank you for
Thank
everything
you.
that you are. And thank you for being on the One Girl Revolution podcast.
And congratulations on your podcast and on your interview that you had on television with
Thank
Kesha
you. Oh my
Rand.
gosh. It's just the beginning, Keisha. It's just the
Oh, just the
beginning for all of
beginning.
us. And now you're
Yeah.
a part of the sisterhood. So
Okay.
watch out, world.
Watch out for one. Thank you so much. But I know where I get my one girl power from, and that's the Lord. And if it wasn't from Him inspiring me and giving me what I have, these talents and gifts, I didn't make this stuff up. It all comes from His wisdom. So if I can just continue to do that, as long as I take care of this body that I'm responsible for, I'll be okay. There's a piece of pie right now in that kitchen that I would love to just eat, but I won't. Not now, anyway.
Right. Amen. And I'm just so grateful to have you on, Kesha.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you so much. Bless your business. I bless your podcast. I pray that you reach millions upon millions and that everyone that you meet makes you grow even more and that you are going to be spoken about in rooms that you are not in.
Oh,
You are
thank
going to
you.
be in front of world leaders because you're trying to boost other people. And it's always better when you're giving to someone else. You didn't have to take this time with me. You didn't have to do that.
Oh my gosh. You
Thank you.
blessed me, so you're making me cry, Kesha.
But don't
Thank
cry.
you. I
I
love
just
you
bless
so
you.
much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
For more from One Girl Revolution, to listen to all of our podcast episodes, watch our Emmy nominated documentary series, follow us on social media, donate to our nonprofit organization, and more, please visit onegirlrevolution.com. That's the number onegirlrevolution.com.